Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm Neil and today we're going to be drawing the human skull. This is part 2 of the How to Draw the Human Face series. Now what we're going to be doing is utilizing some of the skills that we learned in the first video, the proportion diagram. If you haven't watched that, go back to the videos and watch that so you learn. But we're going to be applying some of those skills to drawing the skull. And if you're new to the channel, or if you want to support the channel, hit that subscribe button down below and turn the notifications on so you're getting the latest videos in this series. Alright, let's get started. So what we're going to do, your head, this part right here, not necessarily this part, but your head is kind of a circle. So we're just going to draw a circle. That's pretty easy to deduce, right? Okay, and once we have that circle, similar to the proportion diagram, I'm going to draw a line down our center line. Because again, the face and the skull are symmetrical objects. So essentially, one side of the face looks like the other side of the face. And once we have that there, we're going to draw in our proportion lines. Across there, that's the hairline, but and skulls don't necessarily have hair, right? But we want to utilize that to map out our proportions so it looks right. So even though we're not using it, it is of some use. All right, and so then we're going to put the brow line across here. I'm going to drop down a little bit more. I'm going to draw the nose line. Now this is indicating the bottom of the nose right here, not inside the nose. That'd be gross. Just the bottom of the nose. And then we're going to go down a little bit more. My line didn't go far enough, but that's going to be our chin. So again, we've got the spaces here that look really similar. And this is kind of mapping out where we're going to put the pieces of the skull. So then we're going to drop a line down on this side, just kind of give us a little bit of a border to go off of. We did the same thing with the proportion diagram. So you're going to draw it like that. All right, next we're going to come in and we're going to drop in the orbitals, which are just a circle shape. These are a little bit larger than how they appeared in the proportion diagram, but that's because we don't have the skin, you know, your eyelids and all the skin around the eyes and the eyeball. That's obviously not part of the skull. So that's been removed. So we draw that a little bit bigger because this space around your eye, you can feel the bone there. It's larger than the eye, which the proportion diagram was mapping out. Okay, so we're gonna do another circle on the other side. Okay, and then we are going to draw an oval shape. This is going to represent the nasal cavity. Draw an oval shape, and you can kind of see how this is starting to look like a skull. Then we are going to come in here and draw a couple lines down like we did on the proportion diagram. And this time this is going to indicate where the teeth are, because skulls don't have lips. So that's going to come to about right there. And then we are going to draw a line across. This again is going to give us a place to put the teeth. Okay, so now that we have that, we're going to come in here on this side. This is just the corner part of your chin, or the mandible. That's what the bone is called. And we're going to pull that line down to here. Same on this side. We're going to pull that line, just a curved line down to here, because your skull kind of curves in. Or your mandible, I should say, not the skull. If your skull curves in, then there's more problems than you know. So now we're going to begin to draw the zygomatic bones, which are your cheekbones. So that's kind of a curved line over here, and they pop out a little bit on the side. And then there's the zygomatic process that comes up through here and into your temple. You're going to curve another line out on this side. Try to keep these curved lines even. We're going to pull that line out again to here. It comes out a little bit over here on this side. And then it's going to curve up like that and end right there. So these actually we drew on the proportion diagram, the temporal curves. All right, now we're going to indicate some teeth. It's going to go, they're little upside down U's. That's how your teeth kind of fit into your skull. And we're just going to keep that going on either side of, this is the maxilla, which is the piece that's kind of below your nose right here, and it kind of creeps up along the side of the eyes too. And keep those C shape or U shapes, upside down U shapes going that way. And we're going to do some more this way. You want to make sure that you keep the same amount of teeth on either side. I think I got it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So we're good there. All right. Next, we're gonna draw. Or excuse me, not draw. We're gonna erase. We're gonna erase some of these lines here because we don't need them anymore. They were there to help us identify where to put pieces, and we don't need that anymore because we placed our pieces that we need so far. We're going to jump back in here, and we're going to start to darken in the outer contours of the skull. This is the back portion where your brain is housed. It's going to come down like that. Oops. And again, not again, I don't think I've said it, but this is not something that's going to be an exact drawing. It's not meant to be super authentic or streamlined or perfect. This is just an exercise to help us map out pieces on the face and what size they are. Okay. All right, we'll go in and draw that nasal bone, or the nasal cavity, I should say. And it does go kind of a further ways back here. Draw that line up and then down. And if you want to give it some definition, you can come in here and just shade it a bit. Okay, now we will kind of refine these a bit, because they kind of they have an interesting contour. They kind of look almost like a odd-shaped egg. So we're gonna put a little definition on our, whoops, I think that's a little too much definition. So we're gonna do that. It's gonna come around to here and close that off. And this again is a little too pointy for me, so I'm gonna just trim this off a bit and do that. Okay. So there you have the orbital. There's actually a bunch of orbital bones in there. But again, this is not anatomy. This is just where to plot things on the face. So there are a couple of bones that come up back through here, and I don't recall the names of them. There's also some cracking. It looks like cracks, but it's actually separate bones that come across here to the zygomatic bones. All right, and then we're going to shade. I'm going to shade in. You don't have to shade in if you don't want to, but I like to shade things in. All right, now that we've got that, let's go down here back to the teeth. I'm gonna erase these lines here, and we're gonna plot where the lower teeth go. So those go right here. They're a little thinner. If you've noticed with your teeth, they're a little bit thinner on the bottom and a little thicker on the top. And for the most part, everybody has a overbite. Some people do have an underbite, but when we're drawing the skull, we want to draw it with an overbite. Sorry, underbite people. All right, so we've indicated the teeth line there for the lower teeth. Make sure that this point here and this point here match up pretty decently. I'm going to take off some of this. And we're going to go here. 1, 2, and this is U-shaped, kind of like what we did at the top there. I'm gonna keep going. Sorry, mine get a little sloppy. Little sloppy Joe. Gonna keep doing those U-shapes over here. All right, and then I'm gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, got the right amount of teeth. So now we're going to go set the lines to the teeth. That was really out of order, but it really doesn't matter which order you go in, just as long as they look like that. Okay. So then we're going to drop in our lower teeth. All right, so there you have the teeth. Next, we're going to drop in what's called the mandible bone. This kind of comes down in a little bit of a curve. Stops here. And then we're going to round that off to the chin. Same thing on this side. We're going to curve that line in to about there. Round that off to the chin. Then we'll go in and erase this stuff because we don't need it anymore. All right, and then we're going to draw the other part of the mandible. It kind of curves around and a little bit behind the teeth. So curve it around, a little bit behind the teeth like that. All right, so now we're going to indicate the grooves in the maxilla that are right above your teeth. So you can feel the grooves in your gum line right there. We're just going to pull those up so that our skull looks accurate and real. Keep going with those lines all the way across. And then we'll curve it off here and curve it off there. We're going to do the same thing to the bottom, but the bottom is a little bit more rounded. They kind of pop out. They're more circular shapes. They're not necessarily grooves, and you can feel that if you press on your chin. You can feel that bump underneath your teeth. So we're going to draw that in there and do the lines down. And once we get to here, we can kind of round those off. Next, we're going to do a couple of curved lines here. And on this side as well, right in that groove where the mandible, I should say, is placed. This is the back of the skull, because the skull kind of curves around in the back. And I'm just shading, you don't have to do this. You can kind of shade it in to give it that extra push to the front. And then we're going to draw a line in here, because your jaw, or the mandible, has a little groove in here. It's groovy. So we're going to draw that groove. Alright. And so up on top here, we've got a couple lines to draw there. And these are just squiggly lines that indicate the bones on the top of the head. It's where your soft spot was when you were a baby. Clean that up a little bit there. Alright, and there you have your human skull. Again, the purpose of this exercise is to map pieces out on the face. So the orbital sockets, that's where your eyes go. The nasal bones, that's where your nose goes. The teeth, where your lips and the line in your mouth goes. And this, combined with the proportion diagram, will help you better map out things on the face and identify problems when things don't look right. I hope you had a lot of fun doing this. We are going to continue this series. The next in the series is going to be drawing the actual face. So tune in for that. And an easy way to do that is to click the subscribe button down below, turn on the notifications so you get that notification when that third episode comes out. Alright, that's it for today. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.